Hey, silent fighter. If you keep waking up wondering why they still haven't changed, if you keep explaining yourself to someone who pretends not to understand, if you keep chasing people who only respond when they need something, this is your reset. Here's what they do. They go silent. You panic. You reach out. They respond just enough to keep you hooked. Then they disappear again. It's a pattern you know by heart now. The cycle of breadcrumbs, false hope, and emotional whiplash. Here's what you do. You analyze every word they said. You over-explain your feelings. You give them the benefit of the doubt again and again. You tell yourself, maybe they're just busy. Maybe I'm overthinking. Maybe if I just communicate better, they'll finally understand. Here's why it keeps happening. Because the more you chase, the more power you give away. The more you explain, the less they respect you. The more you tolerate, the more they take. It's a law of human behavior. When you make yourself too available, too understanding, too patient with disrespect, you teach people that your boundaries are negotiable. And once they learn that lesson, the pattern becomes permanent. Most people think the solution is talking more, communicating better, being more patient, giving it one more chance. But the truth is, the more you explain your worth to someone, the less they'll ever see it. Because people who truly value you don't need a PowerPoint presentation on why they should treat you with respect. They just do. In the next 7 truths, I'm going to show you why chasing destroys your power and turns love into addiction. How to recognize emotional manipulation before it hooks you. Why silence is your strongest boundary and most powerful response. How to detach without guilt, without relapse, and without looking back. And how to build a life so strong, so purposeful, that their absence becomes completely irrelevant. Don't skip any part. Each section builds your control. Each truth is a tool. And by the end, you'll have everything you need to break free. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Translation: they can't control you unless you react. They can't hurt you unless you hand them the weapon. Your peace belongs to you, not them. This is the foundation of everything we're about to discuss. The moment you realize that your emotional state is your territory, not theirs to invade, everything changes. Before we begin, drop this in the comments. I will not chase what doesn't choose me. Like this video if it already resonates. Subscribe for Stoic relationship advice, tactical wisdom every week. Now let's begin. Truth 1. The addiction of chasing. Let me tell you something harsh. You're not in love. You're addicted. Addicted to the chase. Addicted to the drama. Addicted to the hope that one day they'll finally see your worth. And just like any addiction, it's destroying you slowly. You know it, but you keep going back. Here's how it works. They give you just enough attention to keep you invested. A text at midnight. A compliment when you're about to give up. A moment of warmth that feels like the old days. Then they pull back, and you panic. That panic you feel when they go silent, when they leave you on red, when they cancel plans again. That's not love, that's withdrawal. You're chasing the high of their validation because somewhere along the way, you made them the source of your worth. You started measuring your value by their attention, and now you're trapped in a cycle where you need them to feel whole. But here's the truth the Stoics knew thousands of years ago. No one outside of you can give you peace. No text message, no apology, no confession of love can fill the void you're trying to fill. Epictetus said, "If you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid." Translation: stop performing for people who don't even respect the show. Stop trying to prove your worth to someone who's already decided not to see it. Stop auditioning for a role in someone's life when they've already cast you as an option. Ask yourself right now, if they disappeared tomorrow, would you collapse? If the answer is yes, you're not building a relationship. You're building a dependency, and dependencies don't lead to love. They lead to resentment, desperation, and self-abandonment. The cure is simple but brutal. Stop chasing, not as a tactic to make them jealous, not as a strategy to get them back, but as a commitment to yourself. Because the moment you stop chasing is the moment you start healing. Comment this: I release the addiction. I choose peace. Truth. 2. Words mean nothing. Patterns mean everything. Stop listening to what they say. Start watching what they do. They say they care, but they disappear for days without explanation. They say you matter, but they only reach out when they're bored, lonely, or need something from you. They say they'll change, but the pattern repeats every single time. Different excuses, same behavior. Seneca warned us, we suffer more often in imagination than in reality. You're suffering because you keep believing the story they tell instead of the reality they show. You're living in the fantasy of who you want them to be instead of accepting who they actually are. Here's the rule that will save you years of pain. If someone's actions don't match their words, believe the actions. Not once, not sometimes, always. Words are cheap. Anyone can say, I love you, or I miss you, or you're important to me. But love isn't declared in words. Love is demonstrated in actions. Love is consistency. Love is showing up. Love is effort that doesn't need to be begged for. If they wanted to, they would. If they cared, you'd know without question. If they valued you, you wouldn't be confused, anxious, or constantly questioning where you stand. Stop debating reality with manipulators. They will gaslight you into questioning your own eyes. They'll make you doubt your instincts. They'll convince you that your standards are too high, that you're too demanding, that you're the problem. But you're not crazy for wanting consistency. You're not demanding for expecting respect. You're not the problem for having standards. Comment this: I trust patterns, not promises. Truth. 3. You cannot debate gaslighting. Gaslighting is when someone makes you doubt your own reality. It's one of the most insidious forms of manipulation because it doesn't just hurt you. It makes you question whether you have the right to be hurt in the first place. You say, you hurt me when you ignored me for 3 days. They say, you're too sensitive. I was just busy. You say, you promised you'd stop doing this. They say, I never said that. You're remembering it wrong. You say, this pattern keeps repeating. They say, you're imagining things. You're too insecure. And suddenly, you're not talking about their behavior anymore. You're defending your sanity. Here's what you need to understand. You cannot win a debate with someone who rewrites reality. They don't argue to understand you. They argue to confuse you, to make you question yourself, to shift blame back onto you so they never have to take accountability. It's a game you can't win because the rules change every time you're about to score. Marcus Aurelius said, "The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury." Translation: don't engage. Don't try to convince them of what happened. Don't pull out screenshots to prove your point. Don't waste your breath explaining how their behavior made you feel. When someone gaslights you, silence is your power. You don't need to prove you're right. You don't need them to admit they're wrong. You don't need their validation of your experience. You just need to walk away from the lie. Because the truth is, they know what they did. They know exactly how they made you feel. And if they're pretending not to know, that tells you everything you need to know about their character. Comment this: I will not debate my reality with liars. Truth 4. Stop explaining yourself. Every time you explain yourself to someone who doesn't respect you, you lose power. Let me say that again because this is critical. Explanation equals power loss. When you constantly justify your feelings, defend your boundaries, or prove your worth, you're teaching them that your value is up for debate. It's not. The Stoics believed in self-respect as a non-negotiable foundation of a good life. You don't convince people to treat you well, you require it. Think about it. Have you ever seen someone with strong boundaries explain themselves? No. They state what they will and won't tolerate, and then they act accordingly. They don't give speeches. They don't send paragraph texts. They don't have the same conversation 5 times hoping for a different result. They simply remove themselves from situations that disrespect them. Here's the shift you need to make. Stop explaining why you deserve respect. Start removing yourself from disrespect. No speech, no essay texts explaining how their behavior makes you feel. No, let me tell you one more time conversations. Just boundaries, just action, just exit. Epictetus taught, first say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do. So ask yourself right now, who are you? Someone who tolerates disrespect because you're afraid of being alone? Or someone who walks away from it because you know your peace is more valuable than their presence? Your answer to that question will determine everything. Comment this: I will not explain my worth. I will enforce it. Truth. 5. Strategic silence equals silence plus action. Silence without action is just avoidance. Action without silence is just chaos. Strategic silence is both. Here's what it means. You stop engaging emotionally. You stop reacting to their provocations. You stop giving them the drama they crave. You stop explaining, defending, or justifying. But you also take action. You block when necessary. You distance yourself. You rebuild your life without them in it. You create consequences for disrespect. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one." Translation: stop talking about boundaries. Enforce them. Most people get this wrong. They think silence means being passive. It doesn't. Silence is the calm before decisive action. It's the moment you stop reacting emotionally and start responding strategically. Think of it like this. When someone disrespects you, they expect a reaction. They expect you to chase, to argue, to beg for an explanation. That's what they're used to. That's what gives them power. But when you go silent and take action, you break the pattern. You take back control. Strategic silence is not about punishing them. It's about protecting you. When you go silent, you reclaim your energy. You stop wasting emotional resources on people who don't value them. When you take action, you reclaim your life. You show yourself that your boundaries are real, not just words. Together, they create freedom. And here's what happens when you practice strategic silence consistently. You stop being affected by their games. You stop caring whether they respond or not. You stop checking your phone every 5 minutes, hoping they finally texted back. You become genuinely indifferent, not bitter, not angry, just free. Comment this: my silence is my boundary, my action is my freedom. Truth. 6. Emotional control equals leadership. Here's a truth most people never learn. Whoever controls their emotions controls the relationship. If you react every time they provoke you, they're in control. If you chase every time they pull away, they're leading the dance. If you break down every time they go silent, you've handed them all the power. But when you stay calm, centered, and unmoved by their games, everything shifts. The Stoics called this ataraxia, inner peace regardless of external chaos. It's the ability to remain unshaken when everything around you is designed to shake you. Seneca said, "A gem cannot be polished without friction, nor a man perfected without trials." Their manipulation is your trial. Your emotional control is your polish. Every time they try to provoke you and you don't react, you get stronger. Every time they try to make you chase and you stay still, you become more powerful. Every time they expect you to break and you remain calm, you prove to yourself that you are not controlled by anyone. And here's what happens when you stop reacting. They lose their leverage. Their tactics stop working. The games that used to hook you suddenly have no effect. And they're forced to make a choice. Either step up and treat you with respect or step out of your life. Either way, you win, because you're no longer attached to the outcome. You're not desperate for them to choose you. You're simply requiring that anyone in your life meets your standards. That's not arrogance, that's self-respect, and self-respect is magnetic. When you stop chasing, stop reacting, and start leading with emotional control, you'll be amazed at how differently people treat you. Comment this: I control my emotions. I lead my life. Truth. 7. Build a life where their absence is irrelevant. The ultimate freedom is not needing them to change. It's building a life so full, so purposeful, so aligned with your values that whether they stay or go doesn't matter. This is the final truth. You don't need closure. You need progress. Stop waiting for them to apologize. Stop waiting for them to realize your worth. Stop waiting for the relationship to become what you wanted. Start building. Build your health. Build your habits. Build your skills. Build your inner peace. The Stoics taught that the only thing you control is yourself, not them, not the outcome, not the past, just you, right now, every morning. When you wake up tomorrow, ask yourself, what can I build today that makes me stronger? And then do it. Because here's the secret: the moment you stop needing them, you become unshakable. Comment this: I build my life, their absence is irrelevant. Let's bring it all together. You are not here to be understood by manipulators. You are not here to chase people who don't choose you. You are here to be free. Here's your code. Release the addiction. Stop chasing the high of their validation. Trust patterns, not promises. Actions reveal truth. Don't debate gaslighting. You can't win arguments with liars. Stop explaining yourself. Enforce boundaries, don't justify them. Use strategic silence. Silence plus action equals freedom. Control your emotions. Emotional mastery is leadership. Build your life. Make their absence irrelevant. This is the sovereign code, not revenge, not bitterness, reclamation. When you stop reacting, you start leading. When you stop chasing, you start attracting. When you stop explaining, you start enforcing. Pause, observe, decide, exit. That's your formula. Comment this final affirmation: I do not negotiate my dignity. Say it out loud. Write it down. Live it daily. If this video hit you, share it with someone stuck in the cycle. Subscribe, because we're building the sovereign mindset here, one truth at a time. And remember, silence isn't weakness. Silence is power. Next video, we're going deeper. Why they come back when you go silent and what to do about it. See you there, silent fighter.